The Apple Watch has become one of the most important products in Apple's entire lineup. What started back in 2015 as a fashionable accessory that could buzz your wrist with notifications has transformed into one of the world's most advanced health and fitness devices, used by millions every day. From tracking workouts to monitoring heart rhythms, detecting falls, and even saving lives in emergencies, the Apple Watch has grown far beyond a simple companion to the iPhone. And in 2025, Apple is preparing to launch the Apple Watch series 11, Apple Watch Ultra 3, and the Apple Watch SE 3. Together, these models represent the next chapter in Apple's wearable story. But here's the twist. Recent leaks and code discoveries suggest that the S11 chip inside the Series 11 and Ultra 3 may not be the massive performance jump many expected. So, in this long-form breakdown, I'll cover every single rumor, leak, and expectation about the Apple Watch Series 11, Ultra 3, and SE 3. We'll talk about the S11 chip, health tracking upgrades like blood pressure monitoring, satellite connectivity, 5G RedCap support, new WatchOS 26 features, and whether you should wait for the Series 11 or save money by buying the Series 10 right now. By the end, you'll have a complete picture of what Apple's 2025 smartwatches will bring and whether the upgrade is worth it. The S11 chip, not the revolution we hoped for. Let's start with the core of the Apple Watch, the processor. Recent leaks from Apple's own internal code reveal that the S11 chip inside the Series 11, Ultra 3, and SE 3 is built on the same T8-310 architecture as the S9 and S10 chips before it. What does that mean? This isn't a brand new processor designed from the ground up, it's more of a refined and optimized version of what we already had. Apple has followed this strategy before. The S6, S7, and S8 all shared the same underlying architecture with tweaks for efficiency. At first glance, that might feel disappointing. You'd think a brand new generation with a new name, S11, would bring a massive leap. But here's where Apple is clever. Optimization often matters more than raw horsepower in wearables. For example, with the S10, Apple slimmed down the chip to free up space inside the watch for a bigger battery or more sensors. The S11 could follow a similar path, allowing Apple to add new health tracking hardware or slightly increase battery life without changing the watch's size. And remember, Apple Watches aren't like iPhones or Macs where people demand massive yearly performance jumps. Instead, stability, efficiency, and battery life matter more. If the S11 chip helps the watch last longer on a charge, handle new health sensors, and run WatchOS 26 more smoothly, then it's already a success. Connectivity upgrades. From LTE to 5G RedCap. One of the more exciting rumored upgrades for the Series 11 is a refresh of the modem inside the watch.
Apple may finally move from LTE to a technology called 5G RedCap. Now, don't confuse this with the blazing fast 5G you get on the iPhone 16 or the upcoming iPhone 17. RedCap, short for Reduced Capability, is a lighter, low-power version
of 5G designed specifically for wearables and IoT devices. Here's why it's important. It uses less battery than full 5G, which is crucial for a tiny device like the Apple Watch. It improves latency, meaning faster responses when sending messages or syncing fitness data. Coverage is better, so even in weaker areas, your watch will stay connected more reliably. Think of it as 5G optimized for small devices. While you won't be downloading gigabytes of movies to your wrist, you will notice snappier messaging, faster Siri responses, smoother app syncing, and more dependable connections when your iPhone isn't around. This could also make the Apple Watch feel more independent from the iPhone, pushing it closer to being a true standalone device. Satellite connectivity. Safety on your wrist. Another rumor that's been heating up is satellite connectivity. We've already seen this on iPhones, first with emergency SOS via satellite, and later expanding to basic messaging support. Now Apple wants to bring that same feature to the Apple Watch. Imagine hiking in the wilderness with no cell towers or traveling in a rural area with no Wi-Fi. With satellite connectivity, your watch could still send out emergency messages or even basic texts directly from your wrist. At the moment, leaks suggest this feature will be exclusive to the Apple Watch Ultra 3, which makes sense because that's the rugged, outdoorsy model meant for explorers and adventurers. but there's a chance Apple could expand it to the Series 11 as well. After all, safety features tend to roll out across the lineup eventually, and Apple has always marketed the watch as a life-saving device. If it happens, this could be one of the biggest features ever added to the Apple Watch. Health tracking. The next big step, health, has been Apple's #1 priority for the watch for years. And in 2025, the next frontier looks to be blood pressure monitoring. For years, we've heard rumors that Apple is developing a way for the Apple Watch to measure blood pressure without needing a bulky cuff. According to leaks, the Series 11 may finally include this feature, but with some limitations. Here's what it's expected to do. Instead of giving you exact blood pressure numbers like a doctor's cuff, it will detect patterns of hypertension, consistently high blood pressure. If your watch notices a worrying trend, it will send you a notification to check with your doctor. It's more of an early warning system than a replacement for medical equipment. Why is this a big deal? Because hypertension is a silent killer. Many people don't know they have it until it leads to heart disease or stroke. Even a simple alert that says, "Hey, your blood pressure seems elevated over time, maybe get checked," could save lives. This would join Apple's growing list of health features like ECG, atrial fibrillation detection, fall detection, and blood oxygen monitoring, turning the Apple Watch into an even more powerful personal health companion. WatchOS 26. Smarter, sleeker, and more personal, the Series 11 will ship with WatchOS 26, which Apple is already beta testing. And this update is packed with small but meaningful improvements. Workout Buddy. AI coaching on your wrist. One of the headline features is Workout Buddy. Think of it as having a virtual personal trainer built into your watch. It uses generative AI trained on real Apple Fitness Plus trainer voices. Instead of robotic feedback, you get realistic encouragement and coaching. It could say things like, "Push harder for the next 30 seconds," in a natural voice. The catch? This relies on Apple Intelligence, Apple's new AI system, which requires an iPhone that supports it. So not everyone will get the full experience. But for those who do, this could transform workouts by making them more engaging and motivating. Liquid Glass redesign. WatchOS 26 also introduces a new liquid glass design language. It's sleek, modern, and visually similar to iOS 26. Widgets, apps, and menus now feel more fluid and futuristic. Smarter widgets and control center. The Smart Stack for widgets has been improved, making it easier to glance at information throughout the day. The control center has also been reorganized for quicker access. Sleep score tracking. Apple is finally catching up to competitors like Fitbit and Garmin by adding a sleep score system. Instead of just showing how long you slept, it will combine factors like heart rate variability, blood oxygen, and restlessness to give you a single score reflecting your recovery. Leaks suggest this may be exclusive to the Series 11 at launch, which would make sense since Apple often keeps new software. Features tied to new hardware to encourage upgrades. Design. Sticking with the Series 10, look now, what about the design? After all, the Apple Watch Series 10 introduced slimmer bezels, larger displays, and a more refined chassis. Will Apple change it again for the Series 11? The short answer, no. Apple usually redesigns the Apple Watch every 3 years. The Series 10 was the redesign year. That means the Series 11 and likely the Series 12 will stick with the same look. Don't expect new bands, a round display, or a radically different style just yet. Instead, 2025 looks to be more about internal upgrades and features rather than design changes. Pricing. Will it go up? Pricing is always a tricky topic. Right now, we don't have confirmation of price changes, but there are a few possibilities. If Apple adds 5G RedCap and new health sensors, they might raise the price slightly. But since the design isn't changing, Apple may keep prices the same to encourage upgrades. The Ultra 3 will almost certainly stay at the premium $799 Plus price point. The good news is that if you're not interested in the new features, the Series 10 will drop in price once the Series 11 launches. And Apple Watches tend to depreciate quickly, so picking up last year's model could be a smart budget move. Apple Watch SE 3. The budget option. Alongside the Series 11 and Ultra 3, Apple is also expected to release the Apple Watch SE3. It will use the same S11 chip, but may lack some advanced features like blood pressure monitoring. The SE line is designed for affordability, so expect the same case design and fewer health sensors. Still, with the S11 chip, it will run WatchOS 26 smoothly and offer great value for those who don't need every cutting-edge feature. Final thoughts. Refinement, not revolution, to wrap this up. The Apple Watch Series 11, Ultra 3, and SE3 represent Apple refining its smartwatch rather than reinventing it.